On March 20, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, which is an international body of scientists, brought out what it called the synthesis report. Now, the key message of this synthesis report is that things are bad, very bad. The pace and scale of global climate action in the last 5 years and the current plans, or it says quote-unquote insufficient to tackle the problem of climate change. The synthesis report implores the world to act and act fast. It says things have not yet gone completely out of hand, but they will if the world dithers. There is sufficient global capital to rapidly reduce greenhouse gas emissions, it says, if the existing barriers to doing things are removed or reduced. Increasing finance to climate investment is important to achieve the climate goals. The governments, through public funding and by giving clear signals to the investors community, can reduce these barriers and investments can happen. Basically decarbonizing the entire global economy, and they have to do it very, very fast. And poor countries have to be enabled to do these things by making capital available to them. The central message of this synthesis report itself is not new. Year after year, emission gap report of the United Nations Environment Programme, or UNEP, has been warning that global warming is not slowing down and the world is headed towards a warming of something close to 3 degrees over the pre-industrialization era of the mid-19th century. The maximum the world can bear is 2 degrees. Anything beyond 2 degrees will be really disastrous to the world. So the synthesis report does underscore the urgency of action needed. Other reports have done so, and the synthesis report is kind of final warning. In this context, it is sort of useful to take note of a couple of information nuggets that are coming out of the synthesis report. One is the fact that the richest 10% of people in the world are responsible for 45% of greenhouse gas emissions. The bottom 50% of the world's population are responsible for only 15% of the emissions. Sandeep Chachra, who is the executive director of the advocacy group Action Aid Association, points out those least responsible for the crisis are bearing the greatest impact of it. The second point is the fact that the current and planned fossil fuel infrastructure like coal power plants will lead to emissions of 850 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions. And if the world has to stop global warming at 1.5 degrees, the carbon budget is 510 billions of carbon dioxide. So we are way out of target. The big question is, now what? Experts have commented that the synthesis report is a sort of final warning from the scientific community. As Robin Webster of the UK-based Climate Outreach says, that scientists have done their job. Now it is up to the government and all of us to do ours.